Here it is. Welcome to Roadhawk, 10-minute stories with Roadhawk Wilson. I am Roadhawk Wilson. This is the unnamed shadow. And today we're going to be breaking down a story I think you're really going to like. And these are just fun little stories. You can totally turn off video, listen to this. But we're going to be breaking down Byron the Silverblade and the legend of his victory. So for today, let's have fun. But today, we tell a tale of a unique man, one built from nothing and one built from legacy. A child was born one day. He was cast into obscurity as his father was a noble knight, but his mother nothing more than a poor beggar, hoping to find love, and yet found something far worse. The man himself was cast in a shadow when she met him, and she loved him dearly for it, but it turned out the shadow was nothing more than a hideous monster corrupting the man. It wanted a legacy, it wanted a son, and it had one with her. Now, there are ways of going about this, but the shadow corrupted the woman inside out, birthing a child that was both good and evil, a child named Byron. However, once the child was born, the man felt he was lost, no longer aware of the world around him, aware of only a son that he did not know he had. Through debt, he left him a silver blade that would one day be known throughout legacy and lore. But today, for this child, there was nothing more than a silver blade that cast the shame that he never knew he had. Within this blade, this child grew, practicing, chopping wood, chopping anything he could, trees, logs, even animals. He became a valiant fighter, but one that was cast to squalor and misery. This child was of immense talent, but a dark shadow followed him wherever he went. This child battled the shadow in his dreams, never knowing once he woke up that the shadow itself granted him great power, one of immense worth and valor, but one that also cast a legacy of evil. Byron himself was a noble young boy, one who believed in the good of others and believed in the good of his mother. But one day, knights from the kingdom arrived and took his mother away, as his father had become king of this land, known as Sylvia, promised to its master and its mother thousands of years before, and named after her. This country was one of great length and expanse. It was enraptured by a sea, but not an island and a peninsula. It was both a place of freedom and great misery. Byron himself long dreamed of freeing this country, but he did not know that it was really his desire, for you see, it was his shadow's strange addiction. Sylvia was a country that was now ruled by a tyrant, one of great evil, who had been once one of great good. He had given in to the corruptions of a king, those of women, of lore, of lust, and yet he never knew something so great as the desire for an heir. So that is why Byron's mother was taken. The king wanted his son to follow in his footsteps, and as the mother was taken, she slit her throat in disbelief that this could occur. She did not want her son to discover anything of his father's legacy, as she had learned over the years that this man was long seeking her, that he wanted nothing more than to attack and belittle her into giving her yet another heir, him yet another heir as well. But Byron, in his quest to become a noble hero himself, found a strange calling one day in the shadows. As he was walking through town looking for his mother, his own shadow began to call out to him. "Yes, boy, come to me," said the shadow, almost as if it was speaking in a rather elaborate manner. The shadow promised him, "Much riches, boy, much riches, but I will not give them freely. You must kill the king." Byron himself was a boy of nobility, but was tempted greatly by this offer. He wanted to know where his mother was. He wanted lust. He wanted lore. He wanted to be a hero. But something besides him called him out to him. Something besides the shadow. Beside him stood a young, frail lass, adorned in rather elaborate robes, and of great beauty. She looked to him and said, "Do not follow the shadow. Do not give in to it. You are meant for greatness." And within that instant, she fell into a deep slumber. Byron, however, was very distraught. He did not know what to do, as many would not. He fell into a trance of running, the shadow pushing him along farther and farther away from this maiden, farther and farther away from his destiny, as the shadow knew something he did not. The shadow called to him, "Run, boy, run! Run, and you will see everything that you cannot now." But the shadow was lying. It seemed to know something about this lady that no one else knew. And as he ran, Byron stumbled upon a wooden stick. It was golden in nature, but at the same time he noticed that it was held both within the hand of an elderly man, but not. It seemed to be an illusion, but Byron looked onward. He saw that the old man was his grandfather he had only heard of and seen drawings of. His father never wanted him to know this man, because his grandfather was a true hero, one of legacy and one that death could not fully take. The man looked at Byron and said, "You must not believe in this shadow. You must defy it. You must be better than it." Byron looked onward, both confused and staring at something that was there and was not. The man continued, "Be a true hero, Byron. Fight the shadow. Fight everything that you would desire. Be better than me. Be better than anyone." I don't know why I went into a bit of a weird Sean Connery there, but I did. Anyways, very weird. As Byron stood up, he felt a strange pulsing throughout his body. He felt very brave, bold, as if he could defy anything, even the darkness that lurked within him. For the first time, Byron felt brave. He felt truly like a hero. He was overcoming the darkness that had called out to him and enticed him with riches, of women, of promise of greatness that was somehow greater than him and yet lesser. Byron ran to his home, looking for his mother, to promise her that he saw his grandfather, but what he saw there was nothing more than shambles. His home had been burned down, and his mother was gone. He assumed that she was cast into darkness, that she herself was killed, and to a degree he was right, but he did not know by who. He saw an emblem that had been torn off in the struggle, and it was that of the king, and within him a great darkness grew. His shadow encroached him and began to promise, "If you kill the king, you will kill those who hurt your mother." And as he promised her, his mother, that he would do so, he felt the shadow growing, almost granting him wings, but all of a sudden he remembered his grandfather. A man that he had been told was gentle in nature, gentle and kind, everything that every man should be. And his grandfather's image appeared to him again in the blade that Byron had. It looked at him and said, "Do not give in to the shadow. Do not give in to the misery, to the loss. Become something greater. Become something better." I don't know why I keep going through like a really poor Sean Connery there. "But become something greater," the man said. And Byron stood up and in resolve promised the sword that he would only slay evil with it, that he would not give in to the darkness that he felt, how alone he felt, and he would somehow, be it through the depths of going through Hades or fighting the devil himself, he would bring his mother back to life. Byron stood in resolve, and the shadow itself seemed to almost grant angelic wings. Byron stood, sword in hilt, ready to challenge the world in front of him. And as Byron readied himself, he heard a call, a stranger, a new voice calling out to him. And that is where we will leave our first 10-minute story. I hope you guys really like these. I'm having a grand old time. This is the first time I've been this excited to be on YouTube in a really long time. If you want to check out my collecting channel, you can, and if you want to check out my comic and anime channel, you definitely can as well, because that is where I moved out everything. Please do check out this story. Please support us, leave a like, subscribe if you enjoy the story, as we will be continuing the second part of the story very soon, especially as support continues. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you later. Know that every story is worth telling at least once, and every hero is born out of every situation. I'll see you later. Keep up what keeps you happy and healthy in these times, and I'll see you next time.